Hi, the topic today is going to be highly effective, and I'm focusing on discipline versus motivation. Yesterday, I was under attack. My two daughters were saying it is not about motivation, it is about discipline. It was like giving somebody the same dose of medicine that you usually give them. Then I laugh. I say, you guys are right. You guys are really onto it. See, it is not about motivation. It is about the discipline. Now, I use the rocket engine to illustrate what discipline is and what motivation is. Discipline is a fundamental virtue that supports human achievements and personal development, and it is at the core of human values. So discipline cannot be overemphasized. In as much as motivation is important, but discipline is what takes you wherever you are going. It's like a rocket. The rocket has a multiple phases. The first, especially the first phase of it. So I take the first phase of rockets as motivation. The booster. It takes the engine to the stratosphere, a particular height. Then it gives up, and then the main rocket, sets up in motion. So that is clearly how to illustrate discipline and motivation. Motivation is like a booster. It pushes the rocket to a certain level. But what keeps the rocket going is the other phase, the main rocket. So motivation, gives you the lift you needed. But what keeps you going is discipline. Because without discipline, you cannot achieve, you can't fulfill your core value. You can't achieve the maximum capacity of, you can't get the right result. So that's why discipline, overrides motivation. Because life is full of ups and downs, full of challenges. The motivation will help you to counter certain amount of depression or amount of weakness. But at a certain level, it stops. What kicks in is discipline. Because if you're not disciplined, you will fail woefully. Because in time of trouble, in time of challenge, you won't be able to carry on. What matters is your capacity to carry on despite all the challenges. Maya Angelou is saying that we will encounter many defeats, but we shall never be defeated. So, without the discipline, you'll be defeated. But with the discipline, you will overpower all obstacles, all challenges on your way. And then you get to the end, because it's the end that matters. It's not the beginning. It is how somebody ends. So that's why when my two daughters told me yesterday about the motivation and discipline, I laughed. I was very, very happy. I was excited because it's like somebody giving you something you normally give. Then I knew they are in for a long haul. They are understanding what I'm teaching them, and they're understanding what life is all about. So, because discipline is necessary, because at the end of the day, our vision in life is to become ourselves. It's how easy life is. I'm not saying become like me or become like Joseph. Become yourself. That is the ambition. That is the aspiration. And that is the vision in life. So, becoming yourself is to manifest who you are. So, I'm not saying become like Anthony Joshua, or become like Evander Holyfield, or become like Muhammad Ali, or become anybody. It's becoming yourself, meeting yourself. But this act of becoming yourself is a serious problem, and it is where 98% of people don't get there. Because becoming yourself sometimes could be terrifying. It could be scary. It scares a lot of people that got to a level that 90-something% will live up to their life and they never became themselves. So the vision is for you to become yourself. The discipline is for you to become yourself. The motivation is to help you, push you to a certain level. But the consistency, which is where everything lies, is important. It is an important virtue. So becoming yourself is manifest yourself. Show who you are. Answer your father's name. Answer your name. So it's about answering your name. It's not about copying another person. It's not about becoming James and John. It's becoming yourself. Your ability to internalize that hunger, that curiosity to become yourself is essential. Because 98% of people never became themselves throughout their life. So it is a huge challenge for someone to become himself. Because we've been created and endowed and been asked to manifest ourselves, to become who we are created. Every other thing God created is becoming themselves, except human. And why don't we become ourselves? It's because of fear. Because we decided to rebel. Because we don't want to take responsibility. And in the end, we won't be able to become ourselves. Because becoming yourself is about, conceiving an action, contemplating an action, and carrying it out. Delivering it is a huge task. It's like going to the mass. You know how difficult it is? But it's achievable. So becoming yourself is what God is asking us to do here. Nothing more, no less. So becoming yourself is like a seed becoming a tree. Becoming yourself is like a bird flying. You see how simple it is? Because a bird, a fish that is swimming is becoming itself, because in the fish, it has the gills. It doesn't have the lungs. It has the wings and fins. So you becoming yourself demonstrates that you've been equipped to become yourself. You've been given the motivation. You've been given the discipline. You've been given the consistency. You've been given everything. Because God cannot expect something from you without injecting that thing. So whenever I'm doing my work, I'm becoming myself. The question is, am I able to identify my work? Your work is something you are created to be. You are created to do. And your work is where the whole power lies. Your work is different from your job. Your job is what you are paid to do. But your work is who you are, what defines you. We are not defined by our job. We are defined by our work. What is our work? The purpose for which we are created. So when the bird is flying, it's fulfilling its purpose. When the tree is becoming a seed, is becoming a tree, it's fulfilling its purpose. When a fish is swimming, it's fulfilling its purpose. When a man is walking, he's fulfilling his purpose. But sadly, most people don't like work. But that is where you are being judged. That's where you are being defined. So, one thing they say is, it's not about the speed, it's about direction. You have to ask yourself, what direction am I going? Is the direction I'm going now, is it getting me to work or is it getting me to job? The direction you are focused today, is it heading towards you discovering yourself, doing your work, or is it what is helping you to get a job, to become a job-seeking person? So you decide. It's your choice. Because the job and work are two different things. What God gave us is work. God didn't give us job. That is why in your job, you feel frustrated all the time. Because that is not your work. Unless your job is your work. Don't mistake what I'm saying. Your job is also important, but your work is much more important. So you have to spend more time in your work. Because your work is you, it is what defines you, it what promotes you, it is where the talent, the gifts lies. So don't be trapped in your job. Because if you're trapped in your job, you won't discover your work, you won't discover yourself, and then you'll be frustrated. That is why you see people, they have the whole money, but they're frustrated. Because according to God, God said he's going to frustrate you if you don't pursue his purpose. That means his work. Because if you don't discover your work, you are empty. Because your job cannot give you that flow, that fulfillment, that sense of fulfillment. One thing I learned from my school days is in chemical engineering. My takeaway there is separation process. Because they always do separation 1, separation 2, almost what we're doing is separation. Separation process. But I've come to understand what he's saying there is, it's trying to tell you your priority. What is much important, what is important. Because not everything you do is important. So your capacity to separate things is critical in life. Because if you don't understand the separation process, whereby what is important and what is urgent and what is not important, those kind of things. Because your priority should be what is important. What you are crafted to be. So it's not about it's not about speed, it's about direction. So it was heavily illustrated in the Bible when Jesus Christ visited Mary and Martha. Martha was so preoccupied and going to the kitchen, preparing food for Jesus Christ. Mary was sitting close to Jesus Christ, listening to the word of God, listening to Jesus Christ speaking. Along the line, Martha became agitated, became frustrated, and started attacking the sister in front of Jesus Christ, reporting the sister to Jesus Christ that I am cooking for you. Instead of my sister Mary to come and help me in the kitchen, she's idling away listening to you. Jesus Christ laughed and said, Martha, Martha, Mary has chosen the important thing. So it's about direction. It's not about speed. So Mary made the right choice, but Martha made the wrong choice. So you have to understand what is important in your life and focus on it. Because wisdom demands that you go to what is important. So your capacity to understand what is important is that discipline, is that achievement you're talking about. Because you could move to a wrong direction with heavy speed, only to turn back probably when it was late. So the first, I learned it from also my wife, because as people are surrounding me, I'm learning from them. She's always telling me first and first. And that is still the same thing I studied in chemical engineering. Process, celebration of things. So first and first. It doesn't matter what people have achieved. What matters is the direction. Are you achieving what you are asked to do? Most people achieve a lot of things, but in the end, they are frustrated because they lost direction. Because if you lost your direction, then that is bad. So losing your direction is not good. So you have to focus on why you are created to be here. It's not the speed. If you don't know, God does not look at achievement. God looks at character. And character comes if you be obedient to the direction God asks you to be. Imagine Saul was asked to go and do something, a mission. Saul went there. Saul lost his direction, started moving away from the direction God gave him. He succeeded in achieving great things, but in reality he failed. That is an illustration of speed and direction. What direction are you going now? That's the question left for you. Everybody's hustling, everybody's buying car, building house, doing that. Is it actually are you actually going to the direction God asks you to go? Does that direction give you purpose? Does it lead you to your purpose? Because what protects you in this world is your purpose. What keeps you alive is your purpose. What keeps you breathing is your purpose. So, if you have not found your purpose, you are lost. No matter your achievement. Because when a teacher who is God comes to market, he will give you X because you didn't follow the direction. You were just, moving, speeding in the wrong direction. So it is not about movement. It's not about direction. Are you going to the right direction? Are you going to the core thing God called you to do? Are you becoming yourself? One man was saying, there was an advert. An old man was saying, What you're doing today, is your mother proud of you? Can your mother be proud of you? That the old man was saying in an advert. He was asking the young man, this thing you're doing now, is your mother proud of you? So what you're doing now, do you think God is proud of what you're doing? Obviously, if it's not the purpose he gave you, he can't be proud of it. So be a little bit clever. Be a little bit smarter, sorry. Focus on your purpose. It is not all this hula bula we are doing, going from one end to the other, jumping up and down. That is not it. It is about the separation process. It's about focusing on what you are asked to do. Imagine you go to exam and they ask you a question, you started rambling and you went off the cuff. Do you think you'll pass that exam? You will fail. The same thing applies to life. So it's about sitting down. Socrates said, a life, unexamined life is not worth living. He finished everything by saying that. An unexamined life is not worth living. So that means you are living a life without thinking about it. You are living a life without, looking into it. The world is not a bed of roses. Life we are living here is a gift. And what is a gift? You handle it with preciousness. It's precious. You don't want it to slip through your fingers. So that means you will be beautifully looking at it. So life is not like all this shuffling about, running from one, hitting this, hitting that, blah, blah, blah. No, life is a gift. And you need to handle it carefully so that you'll be able to justify the resources, the purpose for which those things were given to you. Because there'll be accountability. There'll be time where you'll be asked, give account. What did you use the 100 years I gave you to do? What did you use the 50 years I gave you to do? And that is why 90% don't want to listen to this kind of message, because it is going to shatter their illusion. Messages like mine, people don't listen to it because it's going to shatter your illusion. It's going to bruise you so that you think twice. Because honestly, God gave us everything that we require. Even the knowledge is within us. Do we have the hunger? Look at now. God wants to create us. He makes us like, oh, this one I've not eaten. He created it so that when they can't miss it, he used hunger to illustrate what he's supposed to be doing. There should be a hunger for God. There should be a hunger for to do your vision. There should be a hunger for your ambition and aspiration in life. So he places it whereby in the food, he knows we love food. And at one point, we have to have the hunger. We start feeling hungry. So are you feeling the hunger to do the will of God? Do you have hunger to come close to God? Do you feel that, that's a rumbling of stomach? I'm very, very hungry. Oh my God, I've not eaten today. Do you feel that kind of feeling towards your purpose, towards your ambition, towards your aspiration, towards your vision, and then towards God? There should be a hunger. So if the hunger is not there, man, motivation comes to zero. So there should be hunger. There should be curiosity. Because if you're not curious, you won't even know what is happening around you. So nature teaches us to be curious. Nature teaches us to have hunger for what we want to do, become. Then you go to the level of love. Nature teaches us love. But sadly, people don't want to say it. Love means, love is natural. You can see it. Love means action. Love creates action. If there is no action, there is no love. These things God places in us. He places in them. God places these things around our environment. So love is there. Faithfulness is there. Consistency. We are talking about today. The discipline. So where are you going to start and where are you going to stop? So we don't have excuses as not to become ourselves. We don't have excuses as not to understand what God wills for us. We don't have excuses as not to pay attention to what we're doing. Because God expects us to have a deep knowledge. That's why He created things. He created trees to illustrate Himself. He puts His signature on these things, that you can't mistake it. Some people are asking, oh, are you sure there is God? Come on. You are alive and asking me, so I hear God. Because you are not seeing it, isn't it? Okay, so because I'm not seeing my village doesn't mean my village doesn't exist. Or because I'm not seeing virus doesn't mean that virus doesn't exist. Come on. We are created in the image of God. So it's so sad that we allow things to distract us. In the end, we don't face the direction we're supposed to. So I'm winding down. So it's about discipline and motivation. Motivation is good, but discipline is what takes you where you are going. Discipline is what makes you to become yourself. Discipline is what makes you to be a great achiever. Discipline is what makes you to win the race. You are a champion already, but you have to, do the running. You have to do the action. Thank you.